Good. Thanks so much for doing the video interview.
Of course, no problem.
Okay, I am just going to start the broadcast. How's everything going?
Okay. Things are good. Just busy, but things are going well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I'm really excited. I read your book. It's so inspiring. I think, just as a young entrepreneur, a woman in the industry, it was awesome. I was really inspired, and then I had a chance to hear you speak, which was really awesome. So I'm just
Thank
excited,
you.
to do the interview. So thank you.
No problem.
And to just give you a quick background, so this is going to be for our blog,
Sure.
and the basics behind our blog is Bold Moves for Success. Kind of runs off of the book we wrote.
Okay.
And it's just an opportunity to speak with inspiring people who have done cool things to kind of get their foot in the door. And your story kind of highlights all of that, and I think so. It's just going to be perfect for our viewers and our readers and stuff. So
How long are we going to talk for?
it can just be like 15 minutes if that's okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. So just to kind of start us off, I think if you could give a little background about yourself, from the political races and where you're at now. Yeah, just a quick background.
Sure. Okay, so a little bit about me. I grew up in Chicago. My family came here as refugees from Uganda. I fell in love with politics and policy at a really young age. Went to the University of Illinois, Urbana. Went to Yale Law School after I applied 3 times and got rejected. Came to New York when I was $300,000 in student loan debt. Worked as an attorney for a while at a white shoe law firm, and then in the financial services industry, and then quit in 2010 to go run for Congress in a Democratic primary against an 18-year incumbent. Best experience of my life. Lost miserably. But it led me to start Girls Who Code because I really saw the technology divide in New York City schools. So launched Girls Who Code, became the Deputy Public Advocate of New York City, then launched Girls Who Code, and then ran for Public Advocate, lost that race, and then came back to running my organization.
Awesome, that's perfect. Okay, cool. So Girls Who Code, can you just give me a quick background on that, and then maybe one
Sure.
really cool success story of someone who's come out of it?
Okay. So, right now there's a huge gender divide in technology. So in the 80s, 37% of all computer science graduates were women, and today that number is 18%. So it's the only industry where you've actually seen a decline in women, and it's a huge problem because 71% of all the STEM jobs are in computer science and technology, right? And so as women become the majority of the workforce, the majority in college, the majority of breadwinners, it's a huge, huge, huge domestic economic problem that we don't have women that are in these fields. And so Girls Who Code is trying to close that gender gap by recruiting girls in high school to go and major and minor in computer science. And so we run 2 programs. One is a 7-week intensive summer program. We embed classrooms in technology companies. So we'll have 19 programs this summer across the country in Miami, Boston, Seattle, New York, California, in companies like Facebook, Square, Twitter, eBay, Intel, Verizon, AT&T, Adobe. And our second program is our Girls Who Code clubs, which, after our girls graduate our program, they're like, this is incredible. I want to teach another girl. And so they launch clubs in their high schools or in their community-based centers or in libraries where we bring in a volunteer to teach coding for 2 hours a week.
That's great.
Biggest success story. Oh, there's so many amazing success stories. The one that I'm thinking about recently is one of our girls, Ming, from our program last year in California. She created a nonprofit called Code Up to teach girls in Cambodia how to computer program. She's been highlighted already on TechCrunch, and she has amazing supporters like Sheryl Sandberg. She's amazing.
That's an awesome story. All right, so just kind of on Girls Who Code, how did you go from idea to building something? What was the tipping point for that when you first got that idea?
So, when I started building it, I spent probably about a year and a half just talking to people and kind of putting it together, right? So thinking about, okay, what would a curriculum look like, and meeting with teachers and industry professionals, and put that curriculum together, and met a woman who put the curriculum together, and then started thinking about how you would recruit the kids and what a model would look like. So what are the amount of girls that you want to have in a classroom? Why is it important to be in a technology company? What would our lesson plans look like? Why does it have to be, our first program was 8 weeks. Why does it have to be 8 weeks? And so when we kind of I put the pieces together and then actually launched a program in 2012. And listen, I mean, it could have stayed just a program that taught 20 girls. Like, I didn't know if it was going to work. And I think that that's one of the things that was really great advice that people gave me, was that, just try it for the first summer and see what happens. And I think the results were incredible. And we iterated on what we learned that summer to kind of be where we're at today.
Awesome. And just out of curiosity, like, who caught on first? Was it a certain company that backed you first, or was it a person?
Well, yeah, I mean, Google was first. And I would say Google, eBay, GE, and Twitter were our first kind of major companies that supported us. And I think that was really important for Girls Who Code, because it showed that we were getting the private sector involved in, like, really creating a solution. I think the other thing that was really important to our success was our first 20 girls. Like, they were amazing. And they learned how to code, and they built incredible things, and they were incredible spokespeople. And, they really switched what they thought that they were going to do in their lives to going into computer science, and really showed that it worked. And if it wasn't for those first 20 girls and being so intelligent and smart and confident and resilient, like, we wouldn't be here today.
Definitely. All right. So, and I know in your book and just in other speaking events I've heard, you've had a ton of setbacks, and you've kind of, that's pushed you towards success. What would you say, like, the number one setback was, and how did you recover from it? Like, what dug you out of the hole of, like, I know, like, your political races and everything, but yeah, how do you get past rejection?
Probably my biggest, hardest failure in my life was my first congressional race, and that I lost, because I went into that race incredibly idealistic, and I didn't think I was going to lose. And I'd never put myself out there in such a public way. And had never asked people for resources, and I never pissed so many people off and excited so many people. And so I think that was, like, getting over that, and, like, getting over that in a healthy way was a really important step in my life.
Awesome. So, you wrote your book to motivate people to pursue their dreams. And I think, what advice would you have for so many people out there who want to pursue their dreams, but they just can't seem to get their foot in the door, that one big break? Like, what would your advice to them be?
I think you have to really pursue people and stalk people to get your foot in the door. I mean, I think about, like, when I was growing up, I really wanted to go to Yale Law School. And it took me 3 times of just getting rejected and trying, that I finally got in. And I think in my life that has happened a lot. Like, I never get things the first time. But I think if people see you be persistent, and you really are like, listen, this is the job that I want, this is the business I want to build, this is the thing I want to create, people will be drawn to that intensity and that commitment, and will want to help you. Awesome. I really believe that.
Yeah. So where you're at now, what would you say you would consider ultimate success in your life? And maybe what are a few goals that you have for the upcoming future?
Well, I mean, I think when it comes to Girls Who Code, it's definitely getting gender parity in the computing and technology related fields in my lifetime. And I think that that's something that's very doable. So that to me is success. It's probably a long way out. I think, too, is, again, never giving up. And I don't know if that means, running for office again and continuing my dream to be in public service, or, be in public service in another way, whether that's, serving in a different capacity.
Got it. All right. And I just have one more question. So, who do you look up to and why?
Hillary Clinton. I think she is, first of all, she's a huge role model for me and has been in my life. I just think she's so strong, and she's so resilient, and she's so dedicated to women and girls. She's exactly the type of women leader that we need in our country right now. And I think that she really believes in this idea of the sisterhood. She's constantly kind of sticking a hand out and helping other women in their paths and in their pursuits of their dreams, and she's always supported me in everything that I've done, and I know that I can speak for countless women in her life that she's done that for. Got it.
Well, thank you. That was great. I know it was short and sweet, but I really appreciate you jumping on here and everything.
Short and sweet. Well, no problem. Best of luck with everything. Let me know how I can help you. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, sounds good. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.